Let's now start implementing the actual logic of our game. If I jump back to the default layout here, what we're going to do, you might have seen it from the introduction, we are going to gather coins in the world, and basically what's going to happen is every 5 coin that we get, we are going to start activating the action of the platform here. So by default, we are going to set up later that each and every platform are placed in a way that the final path cannot be reached, and every time we pick 5 coin is going to enable the action so we can then jump on the platform, and then the next. After gathering all 20 coins in the level, we now have access to the path that is going to lead us to the finish flag here. So once we reach the finish flag, we are going to reset our little guy back to 0 and respawn all the coins, so our level will go on and on and on. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on the coins for now, and I'm going to go under the outliner and I'm going to type in gold, and I'm going to select my first gold coin that is basically part of my asset library that I import at the beginning. I'm going to delete it. I won't be needing it. I will strictly focus on the one that is currently in my level, and I'm going to unclick here to make sure that it is not a static object, that I actually can move it around. And I'm going to set a few properties. I don't want it to just stay there. I want the coin to be spinning over time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go under properties and object, and I'm going to hold shift and drag with my right mouse button to go all the way down to member variable. And I'm going to add a new variable of the type float, and I'm going to call this variable rotation. And each and every frame, I'm at the beginning when our level reset, I am going to assign a random random rotation Z value to it, and after that increment that value over time. Also, I'm going to need to set up some physics properties to ensure that when my capsule collider touch my coin, I will have response, so I can then start gathering the coin. But the coin, I don't want them to stop my capsule, so I'm going to set physics slightly differently this time. So make sure that you're not increasing the application time here. Instead, as soon as you add physics, your coin will just fall off. So make sure that this is off, and we're going to go under add physics and rigid body, and I'm going to go under add collider and sphere, and I have my sphere that is here. I'm going to enable compound shape to simply reset the pivot point to be at the center, because for placement purposes it is at the bottom, and I am going to leave that as it is. I don't need that. Now, if I scroll down to the option, I want this object to do not interfere with my character controller here. So basically, I'm going to disable contact response. So it is part of my physics world. I can still receive collision on collide function callback from it, but it will not stop my capsule. And another thing that I want to do is I want to manually control the transformation of that object, since I'm going to be making it spin. So I'm going to specify that it is a kinematic object. So with that set, I am now going to go from the top view by selecting my viewport and press 1. I'm going to select my coin, and I'm going to click Shift and D to duplicate it 4 times. Here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I don't want to do that 20 times in a row. So now I'm going to select my individual coin holding shift, and I am going to select the axis where I want to duplicate that row, which is going to be my Y axis, and I'm going to push Control and Shift together, and then Control Shift, and then drag with my axis selected, please. With my axis selected, Control Shift, and then simply drag down to duplicate that row. I'm going to do that 3 times, so I'm going to end up with 20 coins here, and another time. Another time, select the axis, Control Shift. Okay, so now I have 20 coins that are currently available in my scene. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to start coding to pick those coins and reset them when 20s are picked and we reach the final flag, and I'm going to make them spin as well. So I'm going to go under my coding layout, and in my character controller, I'm going to start by adding some global variable that are global to the application with the underscore G variable. This is basically the global global Lua table, and it is all variables declared under the _G table will be accessible from all scripts in your application. So I'm going to first declare coins, which is going to be the number of coins that I've gathered. And I'm going to also have a reset value, true or false, if my level needs to be resetted. I'm going to go under onUpdate, create a bit of space here. And I'm going to paste the following code. Basically, what I'm going to do is if my level is in reset state, I am going to reset my physics controller, my capsule controller, my character controller will be back straight in front of the flag. And for each and every object, I'm going to check if they have the keyword gold in it. And if I found the keyword gold, I'm going to assign them a random rotation from the range of 0 to 360, and I'm going to ensure that it is visible. I'm going to reset the amount of gathered coins to be 0 and set that my level is now not in reset state by setting that to false. Now, if my reset state is false, I am going to, on each and every frame, check for each and every object if they contain the term goal and if they are visible. And if they are visible and contain the term goal, I'm going to gather the rotation variable and I'm going to add 45 degrees per second on them to have them spin independently. And since they are kinematic objects, I am going to be able to control their transformation. And I'm going to simply say that the object basis matrix, the rotation Z will be the value that is inside my rotation here. Now, we are going to create a new script to actually pick those coins that are going to respond to our collision events. So basically we can have a run at this. If I build here and I push play, we're going to see that all my coins are now turning independently. Now, when I pass through them, nothing happened. And this is exactly what I'm going to code right now. So I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to go under my library and MicroLand and scripts, and I'm going to create a new script that I'm going to call pick coins. And in pick coins, I am going to create a default function callback for onCollide. Create that. And I'm going to go search my character controller because it has to be attached to my character controller to respond when my capsule actually hit the sphere. So I am going to select character controller under object properties. I am going to add a new thread and I'm simply going to drag and drop pick coins, open it up and drag and drop pick coins in the slot here. Now let's code our pick coins function onCollide function callback, and I am going to now paste the following code. First, when the collide even occur, we are going to basically a collision involve two objects. So our character controller will always be physics object 0 and object physics 1 will be something. So what we need to check is if the object is visible, because we're going to disable the visibility when we collide with those coins, because once we pick them, we want them to disappear. And we are going to check if we have the keyword gold in the object name, and if the contact distance, the distance between my capsule controller and the sphere here is closer than 0.7, then we are going to gather +1. We're gathering a cone, so coins, so coin +1, and we're going to set the visibility of the object that it's false. Now, when all our coins have been gathered, if our coins is equal to 20, we could have actually removed that. The idea is really that if we are reaching the finish flag here, so if the other object that is colliding with our capsule is actually contain the keyword finish, which is the flag finish at the end, then simply set to reset our level. So I'm going to build that and save. And now if I push play and I move my little guy around and I go near those coins, you can see that now I am actually picking them. And now I pick them all. So if I want to reset back, I simply have to go under my character controller And the condition to reset them is actually to reach the finish flag here. So basically, if I just build again my character controller, everything reset back to 0 since the default state is set, reset is equal to true. So now we're going to actually code that those platform will be enabled. We're going to set up the necessary action for them, and we're going to add the logic to enable them as our coins are going to be gathered. Every time we gather 5 coins, the platform will be enabled. I am also going to, in the background, start scattering those gold coins, and we are going to restart from there.